Well, hey everybody, we're back here at the Allen County Public Library for another edition of At the Library Sierra. Today we're talking to Stephanie Smith about the author visits here. They bring in many authors from around the country. We've got some big ones coming up. Let's get right to it.
So we have author visits August, September, and October, and they're all so different. We're so excited. So August 25th, we're bringing in two National Book Foundation authors. One is a poet. One has written a book based on her family story in Burma in the 1940s, 1960s. So super excited to bring in those two authors. September, we have Lynn Cohen coming in. You might know her from her book, Mrs. Poe. She has a new one coming out, which I've heard is set in Fort Wayne a little bit. So we're excited to have her here. And then October, another really big one sponsored by the Friends of the Library, E. Lockhart. So she's really big with teen readers, but adults as well. I read her book, I'll confess. So We Were Liars, so that's going to be huge. She'll be here at the library, but also she'll be at a local school that afternoon giving a presentation to students.
Why is it important to the library to bring in such diverse authors?
Well, because we have such diverse readers in our community, and so we really want to find something for everyone, something that speaks to everyone, whether it's poetry, whether it is that personal history that you turn into fiction, or also just a really great story that you just sort of get lost in. We want to reach all of our community.
And this has been a continuous cycle of bringing in authors throughout the year and throughout the years. What's the feedback like from the people who come to the library to hear from these authors?
Yeah, we do this because we get really great feedback from the community that this is important to them. They love to read, but they also they feel connected to the book. And so they want to feel connected to the person who created that book or that piece of poetry. So when they're able to come in, meet the author, hear them speak, hear them talk about the process and add some context to the story, that really helps them as readers.
That was going to be my next question. If somebody does stop by to one of these sessions, what can they expect? What does the outlook look like when they actually come in?
Sure. So for most of the author's visits, the author gives a presentation, usually lasts about an hour, and then they do book signings. So we will have books here available for them to buy to have signed. If they already have the book at home, they can bring that in, get their personal copy signed. But it's really a way for them to connect with that author. And then also, you're in a room with people who also love that book or love that author. So that's another form of connection that we get through these author visits.
And as we mentioned, the author visits are through the start of the fall months. Any other big plans going on at the library through then?
No, don't you know by now, there's always stuff going on at the library. Yes, so check our calendar, acpl.info, check the calendar, because as we know, there's always something going on at the library.
Absolutely.
And I just want to take it back to the school visit. Is this something new for you guys to bring an author to a school?
Well, it is, but we saw as I was researching E. Lockhart that she has a presentation specifically designed for middle schoolers and high schoolers about how they can use their love for poetry and music and movies and books to really find their own narrative and create their narrative. So when I saw that, I was like, we have to take this out to the kids, because we don't always attract younger people in for the author's visits, but we know that they have a lot to say and they have different ways to express themselves. So that's why the Friends of the Library thought that it was important to also add that to the agenda for E. Lockhart's visit.
Stephanie, thank you so much. And that wraps up this edition of At the Library. You can always find more information at acpl.info, and you can see this interview a little later today on wayne.com.